So you're thinking about living in St. George, Utah, but then, as you know, you're looking around, maybe you've come here to visit, and then you're thinking, what is this hurricane I keep
A hurricane?
No,
Oh,
hurricane.
Hurricane.
Hurricane. Although maybe you've looked on the map and then thought to yourself, hurricane?
Yes.
What is this? So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about what are the pros and cons of living in Hurricane, because it is an area that people choose. They come here to St. George and then they think, you know what? I think Hurricane is right for me.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the pros and cons right now. So stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sean Azad.
And I'm Courtney Azad, and we're with Keller Williams Realty right here in St. George, Utah. And if you are interested in learning about everything there is to know about what it's like to live in St. George, and not only St. George, but all of southern Utah, don't forget to press on the subscribe button, and don't forget to press on the bell so that you're notified every time we upload a new video, because we upload new videos every week, and they're all about what it's like to live here, especially from the perspective of people that were not from here, right? So we're going to notice the things that you're probably going to notice. And speaking of noticing, we've noticed that a lot of you are watching these videos, but you're not pressing subscribe. So don't forget to press subscribe.
And if you're watching this channel, you're probably thinking, wow, Sean, I love St. George. I love the red rocks. I love the majesty of like the Red Mountain. And I can't wait. I love Zion. I can't wait to be out there. The problem is I don't know anything about the St. George area. And I totally get that. That's why you want to reach out to us, because we can explain for you, like, what are the best places for you to live? Because obviously it's very different depending on your situation. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back.
So Courtney, we are going to be real, or we're going to be raw about these pros and cons of this place called Hurricane.
Yes. I mean, we do want to be honest, right? Because we don't want, someone to think, oh, it's all sunshine and roses, right? Because every place, there's definitely cons and there's definitely pros, right? So let's talk about one particular pro, because Sean had mentioned earlier in the video about Zion. And I think one pro of living in Hurricane is that it is much closer to Zion than St. George.
Yes, the proximity-wise, you're getting that much closer to Zion, and obviously it's an absolute amazing wonder of the world. Like, I mean, this is one of those great American national parks. It's like, it's definitely like top 5 ranked, if not top 3 or top 2. Yeah, so it's way higher ranked, and you can understand why. So what's great is that Hurricane, you're really getting, you're very close to Zion.
Yeah, and then when you live in Hurricane, I feel like you sort of get to know maybe the more lesser known places in Zion. They're not the super touristy places. And then also you have a chance to go there maybe when it's not as crowded, right? Like, it's easier for you to just get lost in nature, right?
Yeah, it's amazing, like shaving 20 minutes or so off that commute from, let's say, like St. George to Zion. That does make a big difference, because Zion's not that far away at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly something you could do in an afternoon, or you could go, to like
make a day trip out of it, or whatever.
Or you go to like Koag Reservoir for the afternoon.
Or you go glamping.
Or you can go glamping, yeah. There's just things that are just easier to do in an afternoon versus, like we live in St. George.
Way far away.
St. George is super close to Zion too, but it's more like, you're like, well, do I really want to drive 45 minutes? Whereas for Hurricane, it's only 20. Yeah. So another pro is that you do definitely have more space. Like, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, just like the way that the Hurricane's set up, like that, you just kind of get, in general, larger plots of land and that kind of thing. So so obviously this is dependent upon where you are within Hurricane, what development. Yeah. And again, if that's important for you, reach out to us so we can help point you to those right developments that offer that more of that land. But I would say as a percentage, you get more like land in general in Hurricane than you would say, let's say, in Washington or St. George.
Yeah, and you feel more space, right? It's not like, St. George City Center where there's, buildings everywhere, like, houses everywhere. There's definitely open space.
It's definitely not as densely populated, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then let's talk about a con, though, and that is Hurricane is definitely not as centrally located as St. George. I mean, one of the reasons that we love St. George is how centrally located it is within the American Southwest. Like, it's so close to Salt Lake City, it's so close to Vegas, so close to Southern California. Whereas Hurricane, you're just that little bit farther off, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about like 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes.
But if you're on that long drive to Salt Lake City, you're just, you want to
You're just tacking on more.
Yeah,
right?
You want to get home, right?
This is kind of getting to, I'm not sure if this is another con on our list, but it's not right on the 15 freeway.
Yeah.
Again, okay, technically it is because there is that swath
there's a little part that borders it.
Yeah, there is part of Hurricane, but when you think of Hurricane, you really think of State Street, like so that's where really kind of all the magic is happening. That's like the main corridor where you have your retail establishments and where you have like more developments kind of off of State Street. But like, but this 15 freeway, that's where you're going to Vegas. That's where you're going to Southern California. That's where you're going to Salt Lake City. And again, you're driving a bit to get to the 15 freeway itself.
Yeah. And then since Sean was talking about retail, I would say the retail in Hurricane.
Jeez.
I can't believe I said hurricane.
I know. She hasn't said hurricane this
But we still haven't said why. Why do people say hurricane?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because it's the proper English way.
Yeah, so if you notice, there's another city called Leeds that's right there. And that's not by accident that's called Leeds. I think that there's some English people that we really took. Really, we went through like you said, the proper pronunciation of hurricane.
Yes.
And it's not hurricane.
Yes, it's hurricane.
It's hurricane.
But back to the retail. I mean, what's interesting about Hurricane is that, if there's other developments around the St. George region, sort of in the hinterlands, right? Sort of like in the outskirts, let's say past Santa Clara, which is a totally different area of St. George, they're not really adding the infrastructure onto it. So in order to go to like shops and stuff like that, you have to come into St. George to go to the shops. Whereas Hurricane really is doing a lot of development in terms of the infrastructure. Like they're adding a lot of stores.
Restaurants.
Always new restaurants are popping up. But I mean, obviously you're not going to be getting the same shopping that you would if you live in,
St. George / Washington.
City of Washington or Santa Clara, right?
Yeah.
So talk about like what you can and you can't get in Hurricane in terms of shopping.
So for shopping, you got like Ace Hardware is one that's kind of a something of a national brand, of course.
Yeah.
And then also you get Walmart, yeah. So you do have Walmart there. So those are two major, I would say, big brand stores.
And then obviously they have Smith's, right?
Yeah, and they have Smith's, of course. That's true. And not that it's necessarily a national brand.
No, but it's
but it's part of Kroger,
it's the major grocery store here
in the region, yeah. And then but basically out, like obviously in St. George, you have pretty much all the major stuff, like all the major shops. Like again, there's a few exceptions, but you have you have tons of variety in St. George itself.
Target,
Costco, Lowe's, Home Depot. Yeah. So you have Best Buy. So you have all these shops there. So I mean, not that you're having to drive that far to get there. It's just that within Hurricane's city limits itself, you're not going to have a ton of big box retailers on your like retail strip.
And since we are talking about shopping, I mean, I would say in Hurricane, the dining options are definitely limited. I mean, there are new restaurants opening up all the time. I mean, I know there's a new Mexican place that just opened up that I want to try out, but I haven't. I mean, I follow them on Instagram. But so it's not like it's not changing, but definitely, I mean,
it's more limited.
Yeah, and St. George itself is it's not known for its restaurants, right? Like you're not coming to live here.
It's not Vegas.
Yeah, you're not coming to live here for the culinary delights that we have here. For certain.
I mean, again, we have options, but it's like obviously that's not the creme de la creme.
Yeah, for sure. And then Hurricane's definitely more limited. And then if you want to talk about, the schools that are available in Hurricane, definitely when you look at the rankings, typically, they're not as well ranked. This, of course, is public information.
According to niche.com.
Yeah, you can look for yourself. They typically aren't as well ranked as maybe some of the schools that are in, St. George and Washington City and Santa Clara. So that's just another thing. But then on the other hand, you are still part of Washington County. So you do have the option if you want to drive into St. George.
Or Washington.
Which
would be easier because Washington's right there.
Yeah, if there's a school if there's a particular program that you like, there's quite a few very popular charter schools out. Well, and there is actually a very popular charter school in Hurricane. But there are, some other popular charter schools out here.
Yeah, so if you're looking for more variety, more options, you can. It's not like you're stuck in just Hurricane. It's just obviously it's a little bit more of a commute to get to school.
Yeah, bigger drive. And just to stress, I mean, this is a pro. I mean, we're acting like Hurricane is so
Again,
far
out of the middle of nowhere, yeah.
And you do almost feel like that because you do drive through like this, these big swath of land where there's nothing, right? So it seems like you're really far away, but you're really not. I mean, Hurricane it's close.
About 15 minutes, like everything else is from like city center, roughly in St. George.
And then you are closer when you're in Hurricane. You're closer to Quail Creek. You're closer to Sand Hollow.
Yeah, so these are two big reservoirs in Washington County.
Yeah.
So it's like where you have like you can do like boating. You can you can do kayaking, paddleboarding. So you can do a lot of fun like water activities because obviously, let's be real, Southern Utah doesn't have the most amazing and abundant water features. Like we do have the Virgin River, but really it's not really this rushing river, at least in the parts that you kind of see, like that's along, like along the path. I mean, almost sometimes you kind of struggle to even see the Virgin River.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of amazing how it does kind of wind its way, like how far down. But but at the same time, so you have Quail Creek and Sand Hollow. These are really good options.
Yeah, but just to stress, I mean, so you are close to St. George, very close. And in exchange, you just get, so Sean's best friend, he actually lives a little bit past Hurricane and Virgin. And he does it because in exchange, you're so close to just the natural outdoor beauty of what Southern Utah gives you.
Yeah, more land, less neighbors, that kind of thing. That's what's important.
And you're closer to Zion. And you're closer to all of the, the outdoorsy things. That's why people come here, right?
Yes.
Because the outdoors are so incredible here.
Yeah.
And so when you're in Hurricane, you really are. You're just
that much closer to where Outlet is.
You're at the seat of that, right? And then also Hurricane has the golf courses, right? I believe there's 3 main golf courses in Hurricane.
At least 3. So there's Copper Rock.
Yeah, and then
there's Sand Hollow.
Yeah.
So Sky Ridge, I think it was called.
I don't know. So it's Sky Mountain. That's the other big one that's out there. So
yeah, I'm not an avid golfer, so I apologize.
But
blowing it.
You blew it!
I blew it.
But I know golf, that's a big reason, why people like Southern Utah, right?
Yeah.
Another pro of Hurricane is the safety. So if you go on niche.com and you look at the actual numbers, it gives it a B-, but it doesn't make any sense to me because if you look at the national numbers, so you look at Hurricane, it's a property crime and violent crime
per 100,000.
Yeah, it's statistics versus national statistics. It's much lower.
It's either like a decent amount below average or way below average.
Way where you're like, whoa, that is so low. Yeah, I think it had 1 robbery.
Like 1 robbery violent time.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it was
a 1 out of like 5.1 out of 100,000. But you're like, well, Hurricane has about 18,000 people, so like literally that's 1. And so it's kind of hard to account for those fluke 1 situations.
Yeah, of course. I mean, people are human, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if you just look at the numbers, and then just anecdotally speaking, Hurricane, St. George itself, people leave their stuff everywhere. Like no one. It's almost surprising. I'm like, you really don't think anyone's going to take that? But
not that we recommend it.
Yes.
Always keep your stuff, your doors locked, and your stuff within the confines of some sort of, at least where it's not out there in the open to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you were to forget, chances are you're going to be okay.
Yeah, people leave their stuff everywhere. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about, and this is definitely a con for the whole region in general, but it's definitely exacerbated in Hurricane, is that, St. George, you're not coming here for the nightlife, right? And Hurricane definitely,
Becoming less so.
Less so, for sure.
And then that's because you don't have real, breweries, bars, state liquor stores. I don't even know if they have.
I don't know if they have a bar there.
Again, it's limited. Let's say, let's put it this way. There's not much.
Yeah.
And so, your options are limited to 0, depending on the category of partaking in the spirits.
Yeah, so if you are looking for, good
party time,
it's probably not the place for you.
Yes.
So that's it. That's our video.
And remember, we are licensed realtors in the state of Utah, so as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy or sell a house, what you want to do is you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back.